What's up, guys? I want to wish all of you a big, happy 4th of July. Okay, to celebrate the 4th of July, I am going to talk about a subject that I started to hear about quite a bit during the mid-2000s. It started to matter a lot more maybe around 2010, 2011, 2012, when top-tier forms started to become more common. That subject is, as per the title of this video, the enigmatic left arm. The left arm, well, in my case, the left arm. In a lefty person's, it's the right arm. But the idea is the off arm of the body. What is the off arm of the body important for, and why and when does it matter in the disc golf backhand? There's a number of different answers to this, but I want to start with a bit of a history lesson, as I often do. Around 2007, 2008, two golfers appeared in the competitive ecosystem. Their names were Will Schusterick and, of course, Paul McBeth. These two guys were arch rivals when they were both young men, and both of them could annihilate the disc, totally annihilate the disc. I don't know if Will Schusterick was ever measured with a speed gun, but my guess is he threw at least as hard as probably that same era or a few years later, Eagle and Simon, which meant that he threw in the high 70-mile-per-hour range. And McBeth was just a shade behind. In fact, I rated McBeth throwing as fast as 76 miles an hour back in 2017. The guy could crush the disc. And when you looked at their biomechanics, they looked incredibly similar, despite the fact that they inhabited really different bodies. Will Schusterick, probably I'd have to guess 6'2", 6'3", lanky beanpole guy, really built a lot like Eagle McMahon, although skinnier than Eagle looks now. And Will Schusterick had this crazy kind of Gumby-esque flexibility, and he would crab low to the ground, and he would mash on the disc, and it would make a clap of thunder, cavitating the air sort of and causing like a vacuum that the air would rush into, and the thunderclap could be heard from halfway down the fairway, and it was an incredible thing to see, and people, of course, were in awe of Will. And Paul could produce a lot of the same result, not quite as explosive and powerful as Will, but extremely, extremely intense energy for someone of his size. And Paul and I are almost exactly the same height. I'd imagine I probably outweigh him by a little bit, although not by much because he's kind of a beefcake. And I'm 5'9". I think, I hazard a guess, he's maybe half an inch shorter than me. But he and I have very similar body shapes. I think his leverage is a little bit better. He certainly has bigger hands than me. And if you look at those two guys and you paid attention to the left side of their body, you'd see something very interesting. You would see them activating their arm in different ways and moving their arm through space in a different way as well. Will Schusterick would walk forward and his left arm would come back like this. He'd load his shoulder behind his body like this in his backswing. And he actually made a whole video about it where he told people to do this, that this is what he focuses on. He gets this sort of reciprocal thing going on where he pulls his left arm back at the same time that he's extending his shoulder into the backswing. And from there, as soon as he began to swing the disc, this arm would come down in front of his body, and then the disc would go afterward. So it looked like that. And McBeth doesn't do this. McBeth goes out, and he slams his arm down. He drives his arm down like a piston, like he's punching the ground right before he begins to pull the disc. It achieves the same result, even though they're doing two different things. So if you start seeing left arm mechanics or off arm mechanics, and then you pay attention to bombers like Garrett Gurthey, Simon Lizotte, Eagle McMahon, now Anthony Barella, Drew Gibson, and you look at what they do with their left arm, they're all moving it in different ways. The three guys that throw insanely far, Simon, Eagle, and Barella, those guys do not do a big giant arm thing up in the air. They coil their arm back and they push it against their left side of their body. They don't bring it in front. They don't bring it here. They don't bring it here. It's down along the side of their body, almost behind them when they throw. Garrett's arm is like way behind his body. It looks like that. All the left arms in a totally different place. What the hell's going on? What's actually correct? And when I was trying to learn better mechanics, trying to throw farther, I started working on activating the left arm too, because everybody started talking about it. I think I started working on it about 10 years ago. And the form that I had back then was obviously hot garbage. I was running backwards, twisting and throwing the discs like that. And all I'd see my left arm doing would be kind of turning to the side and then coming in front of my body during this big, like, leaning back, gritting teeth swing. My arm would be out here, and it looked horrible and ugly. in the videos that I watched of it, and I was constantly frustrated. I'm like, why can't I get my left arm to work? I'm going to figure out how to activate the left arm. But every time I started trying to activate the left arm in this sequence, it threw everything off. I could not swing or throw the disc correctly at all. And within a few tries, I would always get frustrated and give up and go back to the only thing that seemed to work, which is what most people who throw without a brace wind up doing. And that's just trying to keep the thing close to your body so it's not in the way. It's totally dead weight and active. It kind of limply hangs there while your right side does the footwork. And that will work up to a point. In fact, when I look at my form without a disc, we're going to get to exactly what the left arm is doing. And it does two vital things in the throw. When I looked at my left arm without a disc, I noticed that it knew instinctively where to go. I didn't even have to think about it. All I thought about was, I want to throw the disc hard right here. I'll back up a little bit. I want to throw the disc hard right here. And lo and behold, my left arm would be beautifully aligned right up against my frame. It would stay right there, and it felt like loading a bowstring to throw the disc. It felt like loading a bow. Arm up, down, nice and comfy, throw the arm. But as soon as I started to try to add a disc to that mechanism, as soon as I slotted a disc in my hand, no matter how gently I held it, no matter how hard I slammed the disc with my right leg, how fast I went, how slow I went, how well balanced I was, as I gained extremely good X-step balance, figured out tons of like really good positions, my left arm just never felt like it was doing the right thing at all. And the reason is because it wasn't fulfilling the second most important role that the off arm fulfills in the biomechanics. But I'm going to talk about the first role first. So what are the two important things that the off arm does during the X step? The first one you can actually see exhibited when you look at the forms of people like Paul Macbeth again. There's a subtle thing that Paul does when he's walking forward in his footwork with his left arm. If you blink, you'll miss it. I'm doing it right here. You can see it ever so slightly. And the faster you go, the more you're going to see it happen. As I X-step harder down the line, notice something interesting happening. My left arm is coming with my left foot. Left arm comes with the left foot. This is extremely important because what we're doing is we're creating a linear mechanism with our footwork. Everything totally straight, which is what the X-step is. And the only way that you can make the mechanism perfectly linear is to never lose control of your center of mass at any point. I stride up on the right leg, up on the left foot, catch myself, as I demonstrate in other videos. But what's allowing me to keep my center of mass perfectly square between my feet, so I have perfect control over it, is that little quick flick with the left arm. You can counteract it a little bit more with the right arm too. They can move together. But the key is if you're doing it correctly, not only can you go super slow, but you'll never feel like you have to look away. Even when you're doing an X step forward, head forward the whole time. Notice I never look away, except to look at the camera. I can also look at the camera while I X step because the balance is so good. This is being aided by the enigmatic left arm, by the enigmatic off arm. That little tiny bit of moving my mass forward allows me to stay perfectly centered in X step. So that is role number one, but it plays an incredibly important role as well in the biomechanics. The best example I can think of is my dear friend Sebastian Beamy, who is a co-collaborator on the method. And Sebastian is an insane, ridiculous tier athlete. Sebastian apparently threw 84 miles an hour last week on radar. 84, think of it, that's crazy. And Sebastian, when he's coming in fast, takes a huge X step. I mean, he's flying. And his left arm, if you look at it in slow motion, is up here, like way up in the air at the apex of the backswing. As his feet are, I mean, I literally can't even do it. In perfect dynamic balance, arm here, shoulder here. It looks like this, only like a foot wider and moving 18 miles per hour towards the net, if you pause it. His left arm is doing this other incredibly important thing. He is slamming his left arm down as the swing begins. The arm drives down, they extend together, they go together. Arm a little bit ahead of the swing. And what he's doing is he is adding a shit ton of energy to his left side. It's not just that it's bracing against his body, actually, or bracing against the disc. He is creating an energetic counterweight with all of the molecules of his left side. By drawing his arm up and slamming it down, this becomes heavy. And heaviness, as you know, when it comes to throwing the disc hard, is inertial resistance. The harder you make this, the harder you can swing this and stay in a perfectly level flat plane. So of course, when I was doing dry throws, where I would swing the disc and feel braced, it's because this position offsets the inertial mass of the swing of just my arm. But when you add the disc in there, which is getting accelerated under like a 30 or 40 G field, it's super heavy and weighty. And it needs reciprocal energy on the other side to counterbalance that, to keep my body balanced. If I'm not able to keep the left side balanced in concert with the swing, I have to find counterbalance points somewhere else. They come from the head. The head actually starts to move forward when the arm is slack. It moves to here. It has to counterweight where the swing's going to happen. And of course, if your head is forward, it misaligns everything and you start spinning again. So very, very damaging. And a consequence of the fact that my old form allowed me to throw the disc effectively without actually activating the left arm. So again, the two roles of the left arm are: the first one, maintaining beautiful posture and balance during the footwork, allowing you to float forward. Try it out. Think about keeping your center of mass in front of your left foot at all times while you X-step, never letting the instep of the left foot or the back foot get in front of your belly button. And to assist that, think about how you can move your arms at the same time to flow forward. Once you've got that, now you need to think about, how do I use this arm? How do I bring it in to counterbalance the weight of the swing? And you should feel it pretty intuitively. I actually have not figured it out. It's what I'm working on right now. I got a lot of time to work on it. It's going to be a long summer. Anyway, that's probably enough to cover for one video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't checked out the website, learndiscgolf.com, please give it a shot. Please tell your friends about it. The project is growing, and we're currently planning chapter 2, but the more eyes, the better. Thanks so much for watching, and again, happy 4th of July, everyone. See you later.